So moving on, let me just share my screen. Moving on, for our next speaker, we move to the mechanics of, from the mechanics of admissions to the mechanics of the brain-body connection. Our next speaker is a physician and postdoctoral research fellow in the Department of Psychiatry at Massachusetts General Hospital, affiliated with Harvard Medical School. Her clinical research investigates the powerful intersections of consultation-liaison psychiatry, specifically how mood and anxiety disorders directly manipulate cardiovascular outcomes. Coming to us from her work at Harvard and UCLA, please welcome respected Dr. Nohora Ayola to present Can Depression Break Your Heart? The Science Behind Mental and Cardiovascular Health. Take it away, doctor.
Hi, thank you very much, everybody, for joining right now. And well, when the Global Neuroscience Association contacted me, I was so excited. I'm stoked to be here. You're the future, guys. You're the future. So I'm honored to be part of it, really. And thank you for having me. So let me see if I can share my screen and maybe I can share like my slides with you guys, and then we'll start. Perfect. Let me see if I can close this tab here, and it should be on our way. Okay, perfect. Let me just having a little bit of trouble.
I think the present when you opened it fully, we could see it last time when you opened it up. We could see it fully,
Oh,
properly.
you can see it? Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no
Or
problem.
would you mind sharing it, Sarah, from your end?
Okay, yeah, sure. I can also do that. Just a moment.
Perfect. Thank you. So I'll just start introducing again myself a little bit with while Sarah does that. So um I'm Nora, and I'm a international makeup graduate, or a doctor if you want. I work with UCLA doing research. I was the leader in the greatest research in the psychosis done in Colombia, in the Caribbean. And then I got a really big opportunity to work as a postdoc research fellow at the cardiac psychiatry um, lab with MGH at Boston. And in that lab, what we did was we studied the interconnection between mind and body, but in a more um, molecular way. So the mind and body cross section is something that we forgot that exists in medicine, and we have it has been ignored for so long, and now we're going back to it. And that's a funny thing about medicine and neuroscience and science in general. We um, observe, and then we create a hypothesis, and then we have an experiment, and then we move to our own conclusions. And sometimes we circle back to what we observe, and then we draw new conclusions and see that our hypotheses were wrong. So for these for this issue in particular, the mind-body connection, uh, people or scientists used to think that they were two separate entities, but ancestral medicine has been proven that like all the magic behind it, that it's together. So without further ado, let's start. So can depression break your heart? Like, most people think heartbreak is just a metaphor, but have you experienced it? It's really painful. For centuries, humans have tried to explain emotional pain through body. And the ancient physicians, as I was telling you, like believe sadness came from imbalances in body fluids, especially like black bile. And poets describe love as an arrow to the chest. And if you have experienced heartbreak, you know that it is really painful. And in the Middle Ages and Renaissance, grief was sometimes imagined as something that could physically consume the heart. And for a long time, that sounded poetic, beautiful, dramatic, magic, like exaggerated. And a lot of scientists laughed at that. And yet, modern science has shown us something extraordinary. Under extreme emotional or physical stress, the heart actually changes. So, there is a condition called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, and it is also known as the broken heart syndrome. It was first described in Japan, and its name comes from a Japanese octopus trap, because during the episode or the attack, the left ventricle, which is like the main pumping chamber of the heart, can take a similar shape to that trap. So clinically, it can look almost exactly like a heart attack. Like the chest pain, the shortness of breath, the ECG changes, and the elevated cardiac enzymes. Everything you will expect from a heart attack. But when doctors examine the coronary arteries, that they are not blocked at all. That's what you will expect in a normal heart attack. So instead, the heart muscle has been stunned, like it has changed, often after a powerful surge of stress hormones. So what is driving the change are those stress hormones. And for a long time, Takotsubo was thought of as a temporary and like relatively harmless condition, like it was transitory. But now we know, like in recent studies from 2024, that in some patients, these stunned transitory heart changes actually can develop dangerous rhythm problems, heart failure, blood clots, cardiogenic shock, and in severe cases, death. So a broken heart syndrome is not just a poetic phrase. It is a real medical condition that reminds us that the boundary between emotional pain and physical disease is much thinner than we once imagined. Which brings us to the deeper question: how does something we experience in the mind become something measurable in the heart? And to answer that, we need to understand one of the most fascinating systems in medicine, the brain-heart connection. And to understand the brain-heart connection, we have to look at the bigger picture. So the brain and the body are in constant conversation. Think about it. Like if you get embarrassed, you're feeling embarrassed, then your face can turn red and you can actually start sweating. And if a crush that you're feeling sometimes can turn into butterflies in your stomach. And if you fear something, you can feel your heart racing, your muscles tightening, and then you can have shallow breaths, And well, that's your biology at play. So your thoughts, emotions, memories, perceptions are constantly being translated. This is key to understanding this. Your emotions, thoughts, and memories and perceptions are being translated into chemical signals that your body can understand. So one of the most important highways of information is the endocrine axis, which is a communication network that connects the brain with hormone-secreting glands throughout the body. So the system helps regulate stress, metabolism, growth, reproduction, sleep, appetite, and even energy. At the center of this network is a small but powerful structure called the hypothalamus that sits deep inside the brain. And it is directly connected to the pituitary gland, which is sometimes called the master gland, because it helps coordinate many hormonal systems throughout the body. So when the brain detects something important, might be danger, excitement, grief, pressure, and even love, it does not keep that information to itself. It sends messages that work into a body through this biological highway. And the heart is one of the organs listening, one of many. The heart is constantly receiving instructions, like speed up, slow down, prepare, relax, survive. So under normal conditions, this is a masterpiece of adaptation. It allows us to respond to the world, to run when we are in danger, focus under pressure, connect when we feel safe, and become faster, stronger, and more alert when life demands it. But what happens when this system goes out of balance? And this is like the most key thing that I want you to take, right? So this is the perfect storm where intersection of biology, environment, and inflammation is a cross section. And psychiatric disease usually does not come from one single place. It's really just a chemical imbalance or stress or genetics. It's more like a triangle. So at one corner, we have biology that you inherit. And that biology, like it's not set, but it can alter the sensitivity of your system, Like your stress response systems are more reactive, more easily triggered or slower down to calm down. And in another corner, we have environment, which is the world your body lives in. And in the other one, like you have childhood adversity, chronic stress, infections, poor sleep, sedentary lifestyle, smoking, obesity, metabolic disease, loneliness, whatever disruption you have, right? And then on the third corner, you have inflammation. And inflammation is a survival tool. Inflammation drives, when you get injured, to repair your tissue. It drives responses that are great for your body. But when it is disproportionate, prolonged, or repeatedly active, then your whole system goes haywire. So that inflammatory signals can affect the HPA axis, the stress hormone system, and that affects cortisol, and cortisol can affect microglia, and that activates the immune cells of the brain, and they can interfere with neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and glutamate. It can affect sleep, appetite, energy, motivation, memory, emotional regulation. And this triangle is bidirectional. Like your biology affects your environment and your inflammation, and inflammation affects your thoughts. So then you decide not to exercise, and that affects your environment, and vice versa. And the thing is, depression is more than sadness contained to the mind. It's a whole body experience. So per our initial question, like, can depression break your heart? Yes, biologically, it can break it. Not in the sense that it will just go into halves, but in the sense that your mind drives your body and you can experience physical changes from it. And the same vice versa. It is a two-way communication. So protect the brain, protect the body, and care for the whole person. That's where the future of medicine it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for that wonderful speech and presentation. It was very enlightening, and I'm sure a lot of us learned something new today about the brain body connection, about how depression might be actually able to break your heart. So thank you so much for that.